I'd be able to show you that I can bring more than what you think I can bring. I don't care how long's left, like I want to win. Even if it's Monopoly, like I want to win. Like it was genuinely like how you imagine it in the movies. Like it's the only way to put it, like you put the shot up and it's just the whole crowd, faces blend in. It's not how you expect it, but it's a surreal moment for sure.
Welcome back to another episode of The Huddle, and I've been waiting for this one. I won't say he blew me off last week because he's been practicing hard. And it's Davo Hickey from the Illawarra Hawks. He joins me. Davo, it's great to catch up in a more of a long-form chat because I've been looking forward to this. Your story is incredible. It's far from done. How are you feeling about everything? And I guess you just practiced. How was it?
Practice just then was off the charts. That's one of the best ones I think we've had as a group in a while. And obviously you got to be locked in for a team like Melbourne, bro. So just trying to make sure that we stay in, locked in, ready for them, yeah.
How are you doing as a whole? Because it's been a whirlwind, I could only imagine, and we're going to touch on your journey and especially your NBL career to get to where you are right now. And the Hawks are flying. It just seems like you are surrounded by joy and happiness. Do.
Yeah, man. I mean, God, there's not much to complain about, like if you're playing a sport you love or doing what you love. So that makes it easy, first of all, And then when you're in an environment where you already know the guys from the previous year, 90% of the guys, 80% of the guys, makes it a lot easier, a lot more comfortable. And then when you're wanted somewhere as well, that plays into it as well. And just, I guess, in knowing all that, it's being able to put that all aside, and now I can just focus on the basketball. And when I get to do that, I feel like personally I can be one of the most impactful players in the league, So I just try to go out, play my hardest, and I guess one of my biggest things is I don't like leaving anything out on the court. So I just try to give it everything I can and walk away, not having any regrets.
Yeah, we're seeing that. You're having a phenomenal individual season, and it's obviously translating to the team's success. We spoke about it last year when Jay took over, but there's something special about this vibe in Illawarra. Can you put your finger on it? Is there a way to even describe it, or is it just what it is and it's special?
God, well, like when you're in the trenches like you were, 2-7, losing a coach, like you can't really fall back on anything but the guys that are with you, And I feel like last year that for us and that run was just enough to, like winning masks a lot, So as we were winning, there wasn't really much to complain about, and we finished on a pretty good note other than the loss, Like nobody expected anything from us, so carrying that over, I just feel like the energy and the vibe from that, we all understood that like we could be a pretty good team, and that's, you can put the basketball aside now knowing we're a nice team, and now we're just having fun. That's how I'm viewing it. Like I can't tell you what it'd be exactly, JT's created an environment that everybody feels like they can be themselves and be comfortable, So that's definitely added to it. But I just feel like it comes down to the guys that we have in the team in the room, Everybody's just no dickhead, So it's all good, man. Like very, very good vibes all around, top to bottom.
You've played on different levels throughout your career. You've played on many different teams, but is this one team where you can comfortably say is unlike the rest in terms of even going through the trenches? Nothing changed where you spend all this time together outside of hoops, whether professional athletes at all different sports, when you have to train with each other all day, every day, doing all this, go on the road, that when it comes to downtime, you might want to be individual, but we don't see that with the Hawks. You guys always want to hang out. You want to do everything together.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, when you're in a smaller market team, you're not based in Burwood and Olympic Park and Maroubra, so you can get around or whatever. It makes it a lot easier to go. You're very congregated, so it makes it so like guys want to hang out, guys want to do things, So yeah.
When you look back at your career at all, when it began, when basketball started, does anything, I guess, stand out in terms of you're proud of what you've done? Because it was all about rugby, wasn't it, growing up?
Yeah, man. Done your research. Yeah, bro. It was all footy. I grew up like big bunny supporter. I grew up around the corner from Renfrew Oval. So like I was around every day, just kicking the ball back to the team. Playing footy on the sides, and it got to the point where they wouldn't kick us off. They would let us play at the baseline. They let us just play footy in this little slither, and we didn't care. We loved it. So that was fun, And yeah, it was just a good place to grow up and play footy. And then I just copied whatever my brother did, you know. So he played footy first, and he was very tall back then, like, and so I just hopped in the basketball with him. And I don't know, it just the moment I played it, I was like, yeah, this is fun. This suits who I am. I don't know what it was, but the very first game I played, I just remember being like, yeah, like I want to go back and do that again. And after that, it just sort of snowballed until I had to pick a team, pick a sport, and then yeah, man, like I think I picked up basketball around 2012, and then reps the next year, 2013, and from there it just took off, man. Like I just personally, if you tell me I can't do something, like I'm one of those guys that's like, all right, we'll see if I can't do it. And yeah, I just said to everybody, like I want to take this as far as I can. I want to play in the NBA. Obviously, as a kid, that's what you tell everybody. But I genuinely believe, like with some of the looks I would get and whatnot, people didn't think I'd even make it this far, So it's just a lot of reflecting. I'm very grateful to just be where I am at the moment.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear you say that when people tell you can't do something, you're going to do it, because the challenge you've had to overcome to establish yourself as one of the most impactful players in the league. There was a time not too long ago where you were just scratching for an opportunity. You wanted someone to give you an opportunity, and you knew you wouldn't let them down. When you're going through all of that, and we talked about rugby, did you have any moments pop in your head where you thought, oh, maybe I should have picked rugby?
Nah, like the honest truth is, I've never doubted my basketball abilities. It's just the professionalism, and I had to get better at that side of it, And it was gaining coaches' trust. And I've had to do hard reflecting on myself, and try and get better at that stuff. And I'm still not perfect, but people, I'm that was the main reason. But I understood, and I always knew, like if I could just get the chance to get on the court, like I know, like regardless of every and anything, like I can play basketball, and I'm pretty good at it. That's what I tell myself, And yeah, that's sort of where it all came from.
When you've gone through the development player ranks, and a lot of teams, a lot of players who have been in those positions will be a development player for one team for as long as they can, and then they have to make a decision. You started at Southeast Melbourne, went to Melbourne, and are over to Illawarra. When you went through all of those, and you talk about having to figure everything out, what are you most proud of now when you look at the player and the person who you are?
Like honestly, man, I'm just like proud of myself for not giving up. Like more than anything, like I know a lot of guys coming up, and I'm sure you can relate to this. The guys who would make state teams, the guys who would make Australian teams, that you used to look at and you're like, damn, like I wish I could be a part of that. I wish I could do that. The moment they don't make one team, they quit because they're so used to that making the team, making the team, making the team. I feel like getting cut from all those state teams, all those state trials growing up, it was like, all right, like I'm used to this now, like people don't want me, I'll make them want me. And I guess that's where a lot of it sort of fed from, like a lot of it sort of fed from, for sure.
The challenges of being a development player in the NBL as a whole, one, trying to get your opportunity, but two, for those who don't know, I mean, we go way back to when development players started. I talked about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix for you, and it's not all glory. It's a lot of it. There's probably no glory in it, where you're just fighting tooth and nail for any chance to get. You have to do the extra reps. You understand all that.
You're doing all
You
the
have
work
to do
they're
just
doing.
as many promos as everybody
Yep.
else. How hard was that first year? Because again, a lot of people would think, okay, I'm a developer. I made the NBL. I've ticked off my first goal of I'm wearing a Southeast Melbourne Phoenix jersey.
Yep.
Like I can kind of chill now, but that's not the case.
No, it was a reality check, huge reality check. Like going in, you sign the contract, you have these visions of your mind of like, oh, if someone goes down, I can come in, and who knows what happens, And you get there, and it's not what it is, And during that Southeast Melbourne like period, I was going through like a really rough time, like dealing with that and understanding that, And I think it was the first ever time in my life, like I questioned my basketball abilities. Like, is it me? Like, am I not good enough? And then that would, translate to the court. Some bad practice days, some good ones, and just figuring out how to like turn up consistently at practice every day. It was a tough gig in itself. And when you're doing all, like you said, when you're doing all the work, you're doing everything the team's doing. You got to be everywhere where they've got to go. Part of the road trips. Sometimes the road trips, and you're just at the bottom of the bench. People walk past you, they don't know your name, like you just feel like another cog in the machine, It's a very hard thing to deal with, especially for someone who's you know, the majority of every team I've played on up until that point, I've played, you know, like, so that was the, I guess, reality of it. Like, I thought I came here to play basketball and I can't even get on at training sometimes. So it was like, it was that. It's like, I try to tell people, like, it's a hard gig, but if it's something that you already know you can deal with and like you really understand that, then I'd say go for it. But just understand, like, it's a long and it's a hard journey to be able to do that, you know?
From understanding that and going through it and having experienced it, does it make it feel even better for you individually when, one, now obviously being impactful, but two, like, you've just signed a long-term extension to be an integral part of this team and this league going forward? Does it make it feel sweeter?
It makes it feel like like it was like euphoric. Like, I'm not even dragging that. It was genuinely like a sense of like, oh, like all of that, and now like I'm here and I'm a part of it, you know, like I'm a part of the NBL, I'm a part of the Hawks, and it was just I can't even put it into words, man. Like, just the reflecting and the reflection that I was doing during that period when I signed, you know, it was just a lot of gratefulness, you know, and just understanding, and more or less it was probably one of the few times I've, you know, really been told myself like, "Fuck, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, you really stuck to it," you know. So yeah, definitely very proud of myself.
And as you should be. And again, we've spoke about this. I've had the privilege of watching this journey from the outside, and that's why I think everybody just loves watching the way you go about it. And we've spoke about your particular role in your community and where you grew up from and what you've had to overcome to then do that and overcome these things in a professional manner. What does it mean for you and everybody that had an influence of you?
I don't think I tell those who have influenced me enough, like, how thankful I am. I'm not too good with my words like that, and, you know, connecting with people emotionally, I guess. But it's more or less like just with my presence, showing them how grateful I am, or with my actions, I try to do that, you know. But like, there's been so many people involved in my journey that I can't just look past and say it's just been me, you know. Like, a lot of people I could sit here and name, but it's just, yeah, man. it's a I don't know how to explain it, but like, even for my people, like, I don't think people understand. I don't even understand it sometimes, like the scope and impact I have on my community, you know, until people sort of tell me and let me know and understand. And, you know, there's only like 2-3 of us in the league that, you know, are Indigenous, and 2 of us that are actually playing, you know. So it's not a lot of black fellas that have come through and still played basketball, you know, and kept with it. So I'm just trying to stay in this role and do what I can, and hopefully a lot of the black fellas that I see that are playing, you know, and growing up, and I go down to the games and I watch the younger generation coming through, I'm trying to persuade them to be like, "Bah, stick with it." Like, especially the ones, because I've seen a lot of black fellas come through the ranks, and you can look at it and go, "Fuck, if you stuck with this, like, you got something that you can't teach to people, you know." So it's like things like that, and I just try to get as many as I can to get involved or stay involved, you know, because the more representation we can have in every sport or any sport, even beyond that, you know, in academics, whatever it may be, like, that's sort of where I'm at. I just want to make sure that my people are succeeding no matter what, and, you know, more than anything, that people know who we are, that we're here, you know.
It's perfectly said, man. And again, I think you're doing it in such a phenomenal way, the way you go about it all and the way that you currently carry yourself both on and off the floor. And again, I feel like I get the sense that even where you're currently at in your life, that everything that you've overcome in this short NBL journey, even before that, but you wouldn't have had it any other way because you had to experience all of that to understand. And then to give that, again, you talk about all the young people that you are now inspiring for the next level. They're going to go through challenges themselves, and you can actually relate in any form.
Exactly right, Ryan. Exactly right. And, like, that's all I hope I can be. That's why I keep going. It's definitely a big reason why I keep going, because, like, if not me, then who, you know? Like, if you think about the amount of black fellas that are playing right now, you're not going to name me a lot, you know. And I'm talking at an elite level, the top level, the top levels. There's not a lot, you know, and it's just more or less about representation. There's many kids that can see me and go, "Oh, like, he's there. Oh, I can do it. Like, if he made it through it, like, I can do it," you know. And I guess that's just what I hope I can be an example of, you know, just resilience and sticking with it regardless of what's happened. Like, people will say whatever, but at the end of the day, like, that's also another thing I'm proud of, is like, no matter what anybody said or what anybody told me, like, I didn't care. Like, I know where I want to be. I'm going to get there. Like, don't put your limitations on me. Like, I don't care what your limitations are, you know? Like, I'm going to do that and more, I promise you. And if I can do that, who's to say that the next generation can't follow foot?
No, it's spot on. And again, I think everybody's going to take so much out of just hearing that from you and seeing what you're doing on the floor. I want to go back to last year because you mentioned the 2-7. It feels like a lifetime ago with how well the Hawks are playing now. But you in particular, where you're still searching for that opportunity that you have now. You were looking for someone to give you the chance to go on there and show you that you belong. And it came through injuries. There was all the injuries. There was the specific game. I think I remember when you jumped out there and all of a sudden everyone was like, hang on, where have you been hiding? Do you remember before that first game when the injuries happened?
Were you talking about 2022 or 23?
I think it was 22.
Yeah, I do remember that. Wow, we had J-Rob go down. We had Peyton Seaver go down. We had Greta. Like, we had everybody go down, man. And yeah, I guess that sort of, forced their hand to play me, and yeah, once I did, like I said, like I always told myself, like, if you give me this opportunity, you're not getting it back. Like whoever's and I don't mean it to disrespect anyone. It's just more or less the confidence I had in myself. Like if you give me this opportunity, whoever I'm stepping in for, you're not getting it back. Like, and I had to have that mindset because nobody else was telling me or within the system that was telling me or believed I could do that, So I just understood that if I could get the opportunity, I'm going to do what I can, and not just a minute here or there at the end of scrap time, not just 2 minutes, and like I'm talking a genuine opportunity. I'd be able to show you that I can bring more than what you think I can bring. Because I feel like a lot of guys are like that. Like we train different than we play sometimes, like we're a bit more reserved to at times during trainings and whatnot and play a different way, it brings out a different beast playing in front of that many people and, So, yeah.
Are you a nervous type player? Because again, we've seen guys who are the development players, whatever it is, when you wait so long for an opportunity and you know it's coming, maybe through injuries or whatever it is, that you can shy away from the moment. You can get shy in that. And again, as we've spoke about, you don't know when that next opportunity is going to come if you don't take advantage of it.
Exactly right, man. And I guess, what was the first one? The first question to that?
Do you get nervous at
all? Yeah,
no.
I won't straight up say like I don't, but like I tend not to until like I don't know, like I'm out there and it's not really nervousness; it's more overthinking. Like I don't get that feeling of nervousness, to be honest, unless it's a big game or whatever, But I tend to keep that pretty under wraps. But when it does pop up, I try to use it to my advantage, and use those nerves and the adrenaline that's kicking to help me in the game, and I feel like I'm pretty good at that as well.
Well, that's exactly what you've spoke about and I keep talking about. Your impact in winning is clear, and this is what we're seeing from the Illawarra Hawks and how important you are, the way JT talks about you. So when you get that chance, when the Hawks are going through struggles, do you find it harder to kind of establish yourself because okay, my impact is going to go far beyond trying to put up 30 and 20 in a night. Like I'm going to do all these other things, but when perhaps the team's going through the trenches that you said and the wins aren't coming, does anything go into your head then, or you just stick to your task?
I stick to my task, man. Because at the end of the day, like all I can control is what I got to do, And if I can put my teammates in the best position, if I can go get an O-board, if I can jump on a loose ball, if I can go get a chase down block, usually it's going to get people on my team, going. So like I feel like if I could just get something to get guys going with me, I have sort of a knack to bring people along, And the majority of guys that play in professional basketball, they're usually the best of where they're from, and they're going to be competitive. Like everybody's the best from their area. So everybody has that edge on them, Everybody has that edge about them. And I feel like as long as I can go out and show that, guys that are real winners will come along with me. And if not, I'm going to just keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, that's on you if you want to win or not. But I want to win. Like that's how I look at it. Like I want to win. I don't care how long's left. Like I want to win. Even if it's Monopoly, like I want to win. Whatever it is, bro. Like I want to win. It's a bad trait, but it's also sort of got me to where I am.
Well, exactly right. And then what transpires is that Justin Tatum takes over, and it's easy to sit here now in hindsight and say like certain coaches just belong with certain players, but That is exactly what the case is here. You are a JT type of guy, and I think it's vice versa. What was it like, and what is it about JT that makes you want to run through a brick wall for him?
Well, I mean, it started when he first came in, to as an assistant. He was my video guy, and he just came in telling me like, I don't like, why aren't you playing? Like, I thought just the way I was training and what I was doing, he thought that, and I don't know. Like from that, we sort of started vibing and whatnot, and then when he took over, he had a job that he had to do, and he didn't understand why I wasn't playing, or maybe he did, whatever. But once he's seen like how hard I played out there, I seen that he's seen that, if that makes sense. Like I seen that he understood what I do and what I can bring, and from that, like JT's a winner too, by all means. JT, he don't like losing, so I feel like that's sort of what caught his attention. Is like, damn, this dude gonna do whatever, and that's my thing. Is like he gave me that sort of like, all right, like you want it, you're asking for it, you're killing it at training, why not, like. And when he did give it to me, it wasn't like a handout. It was like, here you go, I'm giving it to you, now go do it. And that's all I ever needed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like that first year of Illawarra, like it wasn't really an opportunity in that sense. Like it was like, here we go out, get this guy the ball, get them the ball. And it was like, all right. And if it wasn't done like that, on the bench, JT gave me that more freedom and like, there's a reason you're out there. Like, I don't want you to just be out there. You need to be a threat too. And it was like, oh, okay. Like, and that sort of opened up my game to be able to do what I need to do. And for that, like I told you, like, I'm eternally grateful for that because, God, who knows where I'll be right now if JT don't take over, like probably still sitting on the end of the bench somewhere in the world, in the league, I don't know. And that to me is like seeing how much he wants to win and like what he wants to do. That and the guy I am, like, I promise you, like I'll die on the court. I'm happy to die on the court. Like, and I mean that by all means. Like, I love the sport, love what I do, and that's just who I am. Like I'll play as hard as I can.
You mentioned before, and we've seen it with the chase down blocks, and you talk about the dying on the court that you're never going to give up. But that offensive rebound in game 2 last year, and you spoke about it at the time, but just to be able to have again that memory in your short professional career to know that there's all these other things that are to come, but everybody's going to highlight that, and it's not a buzzer beater, and it's not a dunk, it's none of that. It's just a straight effort play. That pretty much sums up Davo Hickey, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like that, and I feel like that's why I was on the court. JT understood that. He knows that, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna do what I can to put myself in a position to help us win. And he also understands, like, I'm not out there trying to mess up and trying to do wrong, And then having an intern that, comes back to JT again, having that trust and just being out there with those guys in that environment. It was just surreal, bro. I can't even. The best way to just put it is, like I always say, is like it was genuinely like how you imagine it in the movies. Like, it's the only way to put it, like you put the shot up and it's just the whole crowd, faces blend in. It's not how you expect it, but it's a surreal moment for sure.
After that series, and again, it was such a fun series to watch, but a former coach of yours and a well-respected coach in Dean Vickerman, unpromptedly in a press conference, congratulated you individually on that series and how you impacted the team. To have that from a guy like him and an opposition coach, someone that you've been through, do those moments hit you well? You're like, oh, I've made it through all of this, and like I'm now like where I am, I'm supposed to be, and it feels so good to have everybody's attention.
Man, that's a hard one to hit on the nail. I'm a bit more of a petty dude, but it's more like, oh, all right, like you didn't want me, but once I cool down and I calm down, it's like, all right, like I'm getting the respect that I feel like I've always wanted, and the other part of that is like not getting too complacent with it, and as good as that is, I'm really just trying to make sure that I soak everything around me up and enjoy the experience while it lasts. Because I've had conversations with Timmy Conrad, Toddy, and I guess I'm always talking to my little cousins and explaining to them future advice. And I guess I'm trying to take their advice in saying that, like, enjoy it while it's here, because it's already been 6 years and I'm in the league, 5 years and I've been in the league, and it's like, damn, yeah, it is going quick. So I'm just trying to absorb everything that's happening around me, bro. Just trying to make the best of it and be grateful for the situation I'm in,
Is it hard to, you talking about trying to deal with everything that was going on, knowing that it's all being thrown at you within this last like 12 months? And in that is an opportunity to wear the green and gold that you most recently did. Like, you're ticking things off the extension. They're coming at you real quick, man.
Yeah, man, life's moving fast. Like, and that's sort of my point I was making before, you know, and life's moving really fast. So I'm just trying to soak it all up, make sure that I don't, you know, let the moment pass me too quickly. And yeah, really be here. And just the Australian team was one of the epitomes of sort of really the reflection I've been having on myself and my journey. Just because there's no way anybody would have seen me, or if you said that to somebody last year, they would have laughed you out of the room, you know. So just knowing that and just having to be in the environment and people, I guess, picking me and wanting me in that environment, you know, that was definitely again another like deep reflecting moment, you know, just on where I've been and the history that I'm a part of, especially with the Boomers and whatnot, you know. Like, there's not a lot of people that have come through and played for the Boomers, you know, which is a very big thing just for me alone. And then again, like I said, being part of the history of the Boomers is another thing in itself that just sort of makes me feel real proud, you know.
As it should, man. And again, we're excited to see the rest of this career of yours, because I think everybody just loves the way you go about it. Lastly, before I let you go, the Illawarra Hawks this year, and what I think I love, and I think a lot of fans love about you, is press conferences, media. You're going to say whatever you want to say, and that's just who you are. It's just raw, authentic Davo Hickey. And, you know, you understand, yeah, we can win a championship, and I'm going to say that we're going to win a championship because that's what I truly believe.
That's exactly right. Like, I truly believe that, like, we're going to win a championship with the team that we have and the people in the room that we have. I don't know, I just feel it. Like, and if people have a problem with that, all right, go kick some rocks.
Man, again, I love it because it's who you are, and again, we love watching the way you go about it. Davo, great to finally catch up. Thanks for giving me some time.
Nah, all good, bro. Appreciate it, Hully, bro. Have a good one, bro.